one day on holiday, I went to Whitby, the place where Hild comes from, and saw this wonderful ruin on the skyline and stepped across the threshold and suddenly understood that history is made by real people. And then I wanted to find out more about the Abbey. And so I picked up leaflets, tourist leaflets, and I discovered that this woman called Hild had influenced this huge decision that influenced the formation of what made England England. And yet I'd never heard of her, and I didn't know why, so I set out to find out why. There are several people who have written to me who are not fanatical about the woman who has become known as Saint Hilda, but she is very dear to them. She's a guiding light in many ways. And I worry sometimes that they may not like what I have done with my character, Hild. Because in my book she's not terribly saintly, but there again I don't think saints in real life are very saintly. I think sometimes they can be rather difficult people, and Hild is, well, she was extraordinary. Hild had to be extraordinary because she was born in a time of warring petty kingdoms where everyone was basically pagan and illiterate, and by the time she died she was acknowledged as a counselor to kings, a leader, a teacher of 5 bishops, so a teacher of bishops who are the leaders of literacy, and she taught them, and yet she was born the second daughter of a guy killed in exile. Her mind had to have been astonishing. We didn't know much about Hild, and we don't know much about the 7th century. So I had to build the world from all kinds of information from all over the place. I took it from archaeology, from research on jewelry, on weather systems, on everything you can imagine, garments, textile production. And I put all that together and built, so in that way, it's rather like writing science fiction. You build a world. But we know very little about Hild, so I had to create her. And by doing that, I basically put a child in this world and watched her grow and saw what happened, and had the best time with that. There are 2. One is Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I read that for the first time when I was 11, and I reread it every now and again, and I discover something new every single time. I love that book. He's a brilliant storyteller. Every now and again his prose makes me go, but the story is magnificent. But the books I read now, I think every writer should read them, are Patrick O'Brian's Aubrey Maturin series. There's 21 books. The first 15 are, I think, the best things that have been written for the last 100 years. Honestly, I think they are fantastic. I recommend everyone go read them. I never got on with Charles Dickens. I found him endlessly tedious and superficial, because I'm just not a huge fan of people who are put on pedestals. It makes me want to knock them off. I'm working on Hild. There's going to be another book about Hild. She hasn't changed the world yet. She's influencing the world. She's changed many people's lives, but she hasn't yet changed the world. So I'm getting there and enjoying the 7th century again. It's wonderful to be back there.